Hey, we're going to get started with Chapter 8, where we'll be delving into our newest biomolecule we're talking about, which is nucleotides and nucleic acids. So here we'll start our conversation of the building blocks of big polymers like DNA and RNA from their small units, which again are called nucleotides. In this first video, we're just going to start on the very introduction of nucleotides and their biological function, some types of nucleotides and some uncommon types of nucleotides, and just the properties of them in general. After this, we'll kind of delve into the long chain polymers of nucleotides, which is what we call DNA and RNA, and there are also other molecules as well. So just to be clear on some terminology here, nucleic acids, which is a word that gets used a lot, are actually the polymer form of nucleotides. So when we say nucleic acids, we're talking about the nucleotides in a long chain. This is just like, for example, when we talk about sugars and we call something a polysaccharide, that means a long chain of sugars. Here, nucleic acids, again, refers to the polymeric form of our nucleotides. Usually, nucleic acids, or these polymers of nucleotides, are what we see being used for storage of genetic information. So DNA is the simplest example of that. Or even just the transmission, the messaging of our genetic information, which we find in messenger RNA or mRNA. Processing of genetic information, so taking DNA and mRNA and making it into proteins, happens in ribosomes, and ribosomal units also are made of nucleic acids, these polymers. And of course, the machinery for protein synthesis itself, which is tRNA and RNA, which are found in the ribosomes, is also, of course, made of nucleic acids. So a lot of the machinery for genetic information, storing genetic information, and taking genetic information and making it into proteins is all encoded in nucleic acids. Now, sometimes the small units of the nucleotides in their monomer form are also used in our body for cellular functions. One most common molecule that we will see is ATP. It's the main energy molecule. It's kind of the currency of energy within our body and in many organisms, not just us as humans. And this is just a nucleotide. It's a monomeric nucleotide. Similarly, things like NAD, this is another electron-carrying, energy-carrying molecule. You'll see it in metabolism a lot. Also uses a nucleotide in its structure. Now, another example that isn't related necessarily to energy and just energy for metabolism and carrying energy, but signal transduction. So how cells signal to each other or send a message through a cell. It also occurs through a small nucleotide called cyclic AMP or CAMP. And we'll see these in examples as we go through this chapter. But just a reminder that not all of your nucleotides are in polymers and nucleic acids. We also use them for other varieties of reasons in different functions.